In today's video, we're going to show you how you can read outbound BigQuery tables with Bauplan. We'll cover creating a service account in GCP, writing a Bauplan pipeline for the BigQuery table, running the pipeline locally in terminal, and validating the job in the Bauplan UI. The first thing we want to do is go to the BigQuery Outbound documentation page. Here we can see very clear, explicit instructions on what we need to do. The main thing that needs to be done first is to set up a service account via GCP and then to get that credential set up as an AWS parameter. The service account we create is going to happen in the IAM section of our GCP BigQuery. We go over to GCP, and from here, we're going to go to the IAM section. When you get to the IAM dropdown, you will select service accounts from that section, and that brings us into the list of service accounts that we have. You'll then click Create Service Account at the top. Here, we're going to add the service account name. We'll give it a unique ID. It gives an example and a quick description. From there, we add permissions to it, which is going to give permissions to the data set that you need to read from Bauplan, and you can add any principals. This is all optional and is something that your IT or DevOps may have to handle. Once you have that created, you go into the account like I have here, a Bauplan BigQuery reader, and I will go to the keys section where I will create a new key. When you create a new key, it will give you the option to download it via JSON. You're going to want to download that as JSON, and that will get passed to your Bauplan user so it can read from your BigQuery tables that you need. The service account is going to be stored in the AWS parameter store on the Bauplan side, and that will be necessary to have read access to your BigQuery when you run a pipeline. Once you have that stored in the Bauplan side, you can create a new Bauplan pipeline that uses the BigQuery connector. Here is an example to get started. It's a very simple pipeline that returns an arrow table, and I used this exact code and updated it with the table and service key that I needed to be able to access it. Moving over to Ghosty, we're going to use Bauplan's CLI to do a dry run on the pipeline that I created. It's going to run and read from the destination BigQuery table that we have given our Bauplan user access to. And you can see we've successfully got a response in the form of an arrow table from BigQuery. In Bauplan's UI, if we go to the jobs section, we'll see that the job is at the top. If we click on that, we'll see that it ran successfully. And from here, we have an overview. We can look at the logs, and we can even look at the code that was run. This is a great high-level example to show how easy it is to use Bauplan to read from other outbound tables.